Welcome back to season 3 of the Venue Success Podcast, where every episode this season is a quick, actionable tip from Tirzah to help you elevate your venue. I have to just say, this little mini season has been really fun to just bring you my random ideas, my random tips. I had thought about actually extending this season beyond what we had scheduled just because I have so many more ideas of things that I wanted to bring to you. But we're going to circle back, and I think we're going to make this tips from Tirzah something that I could just weave throughout different seasons when I have specific things that I want to bring to you that I feel like will be helpful. So, next episode will be our final episode in season 3, and I'm bringing you something pretty heartfelt. And it is not going to be, well, I'm never scripted, but this is definitely going to be very not scripted and going to just share something with you that I've been wanting to just get off my chest. So be sure to come back to our next episode. And then the following season, season 4, we're going to be talking back with venue owners again with our venue owner series. And I've been doing a fair amount of public speaking. In the first quarter of this year, I've met just some really, really incredible venue owners that I feel just so excited to introduce you to. People that are in the process of building right now, people that have been at it for a while that have things that they'd love to share with you. So I'm really, really excited about that. If you're listening to this and you've always wanted to be on the podcast, simply just head over to our Instagram, Venue Success Podcast, and in the link in the bio, there's a little form where you could fill out to apply to be on the show, and my team will be in touch with you to see if we could get you in on this season. If not this one, we'll definitely think about it for the following one. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that I call the venue tune-up. But before I get into that, I just want to, for just reference, for those of you that may be new to the podcast and maybe don't even know who I am, just very short, let me just kind of tell you why I started this podcast and how I serve our venue community. And then we're going to talk about, again, the venue tune-up and some cool little strategies, resources, and things that I use to work with venues all over the country. So many of you know that I've been in the industry for a very long time. My great-grandmother was a florist, a wedding florist, and my mom actually ran away from home when she was a teenager, and she moved in with my great-grandmother who taught her all about flowers. It's a pretty wild story. So my mom has always kind of had a passion for the wedding industry, for events in general. My mom is a talented chef. She's a baker. She actually made a birthday cake for Billy Graham, like back in the day. Any of you that know who that is. So she's always really been an event focused person. And so, of course, I grew up in such a way. We started our first venue in the early 90s. We bought this 1858 old home. We restored it, and within the first 2 years, we were having 100 weddings a year. I was 13 when we bought that venue and restored it. And so I grew up like literally living in a wedding venue. And so I've been in and around it for a very long time. Our family has collectively owned 5 venues, and in the last 18 months, 3 of us have transitioned out. And but when you think about the the length of time I've been in the industry, and I was calculating this the other day, but it was over 100 years that our family has had some type of um, involvement in the wedding industry, which is mind blowing. So that's a little bit about me, but when we decided to sell our venue, I'd been doing like very part-time consulting for about 10 years. And obviously, being the general manager of our venue, doing a handful of, I was eventually the fourth string wedding planner, but when we had weddings or weekends where we had Thursday, Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday, I was often brought in to still do some weddings. Anyway, so when we sold our business, I decided to go full time into consulting. And really and truly, I had no idea uh, the response that I would get. It's been pretty incredible. And I've worked with people all across the country. And I started the podcast actually about, I think it'll be 2 years this summer. I started that. Because I genuinely just wanted to create a free resource for so many of you that are too scared or nervous to invest in consulting, who wanted something that could be just easily accessible to everyone. I think that's the bottom line. I wanted to give back to this community that I love so very much, and I'm so humbled and honored at the response. And more than anything, I'm just glad it's helping you. That makes my heart so happy. Anyway, so with my the consulting side of what I do, no, that part's not free. Um, I wish that it could be, but that has become really something that, I can't scale very well because I am just me and I do a lot of one-on-one consulting. There are many other consultants that focus on group coaching, and I think that that is so valuable. It's a smart business choice for them for sure. I could do that, to be honest, and probably make a lot more money, but I don't predominantly do that. I don't do consulting just for money. If it was just for money, I think I would lose my passion very, very quickly. But I really enjoy the process of working one on one with people and building deep relationships with venues all across the country. And I feel such joy when they are successful. I actually just got a text. I wasn't planning to say this to you, but I just got a text. Let me see if I could pull it up. It was today, and it was from one of my venues that I transitioned to all inclusive. And he said this. He says, tours are going so well. We're booking a lot. Got 3 bookings just this weekend. And I said, I'm so happy about that. And he says, people are absolutely loving the all inclusive. And you can't see this very well here, but my response to him was, well, duh, with laughy face. The package is awesome. So I get messages like that all of the time, Voxers from people, emails from people just saying that their experience working with me was really foundational to their growth. I was just with actually Justin at Nuptial, and we were visiting. I was speaking at his the How to Rendezvous event, and we went to one venue and we were touring several venues in the Nashville area. And one of them was someone that I had worked with previously, and I had worked with their sales team. And I'd actually totally forgot that I was gonna get to see her when we were on this trip. And she ran up to me and gave me the biggest hug, and she was like, "Guess how many weddings I booked this month, Tirzah?" And I was like, "What, girl? How many?" And she's like, 15. And we were just, like, hugging each other and celebrating, and, I mean, that is just the happiest thing to me ever. Okay, so let me talk to you about a little bit, um some different ways that you can potentially work with me and what I do, because my one-on-ones are so limited. So first up, the one-on-ones, uh, depending on the level of which they book me, you can basically buy out my exclusivity to only work with you one-on-one, in a really full, deep capacity. I'm actually doing that with a client right now. It's a 1-year client, and we are basically working with them all throughout the process while they build their venue, helping them build their contracts, building their packages, doing their client interfacing, building their automations, building out all their SOPs. And then we're going to actually walk through teaching them once they open how to do a rehearsal, how to do a final meeting, how to actually run an event, like there's so many things I can't even begin to tell you, but we're working with them kind of on a 12-month basis. And then there's other people that I'll work with on a 3, 6, 9-month basis that might need just more focused attention on one or two specific things. For instance, I've transitioned a lot of people from just a venue only to all inclusive. Another thing that I could do for people is they come to me and they're like, hey, I just totally don't have the time, but I want to make sure that my pricing is right. Will you do a market analysis for me and then kind of look at my pricing and see if I need to make any adjustments? So that is something that we do for people. There's almost always a waiting list to get us to do that. And then, so because of the fact that I'm only like predominantly one on one with one venue at a time, I started something called the venue tune up. I've been doing this for a couple of years actually, where I could come for either usually 2 days. That's the best thing to do. Some people will do it for one day, where I will come and just spend a full day with you focused on whatever it is that you feel like is the most burning issue at the time. And we can often cover a lot of things in a short amount of time. I just recently did one, and in one day, it blew my mind what we were able to cover. The owners of the venue were kind of mind blown at how much we were able to accomplish. We talked about financial clarity. We went over their P&Ls, their profit margins. We looked at the way that they're managing their bar and inventory and forecasting. I observed a couple of tours and gave feedback on the tours, and they were actually able to immediately implement some of those changes that day. And it was very eye opening for them. So we definitely, the tour observation side of what we could do at a 2-day tune up is that alone is totally worth it. We did a website analysis, talked through SEO, marketing, and kind of how all of those facets are working in cohesion with each other. And then we talked through like operational efficiencies. How are you doing flips? And are there any kind of wonky parts of the process that aren't going well? We talked about staffing, about storage and efficiency with that, about even the way your offices are oriented to make sure that they are set up for optimal success. Lots of back end organizational things. Interweave through all of that, there tends to always be some type of personal therapy sessions going on. Anyone that knows me knows that we get straight to the heart pretty quickly. And then, always as part of the process of having me there, we do kind of get to um, some good conversations about like your team and of roles and responsibilities and how you're functioning well together. And so it's pretty incredible. And one thing that I will say is that I've worked with venues that have been around for 15 years and some of them 5 months, and everyone can benefit from a fresh set of eyes. That's what I'll say. Sometimes it's a pat on the back and, hey, you're doing the right things. You're doing a good job. Here's a couple little things that you could tweak, but you're going in the right direction. That's not normal for me to find. Like, normally when I come in, people are shocked at how much I find that can be improved upon, and that's what you want, right? But sometimes it's just I've had other people in the, and that have been in the industry for 20 years, and they reach out to me and they're like, Tears, I just need a thumbs up. I'm like, am I going in the right direction or not? So sometimes just having that extra affirmation is super beneficial. So that's what the 2-day tune up is. We have two of those left for this year. Um, so again, it's just something that I offer, and I could weave it in and out when I'm working one on one very closely with venues. And then the other thing that I do is called the diagnostic call, and I do tons of these, so many. I used to do these for free. I call them the 20-minute consults, and they always ended up being close to an hour. I was doing them for free. So I was like, I am getting burnt out. I can't do this anymore. So I started charging a small fee to spend 45 minutes with me. And then this year, they even exploded even more. So come on, y'all. But what I'll tell you is that we unpack in 45 minutes. It's kind of mind blowing what we can do. And one of the things that is so helpful with me is that I know so many people. So if you're struggling with SEO, or you're struggling with marketing, or you need some automation, or whatever the case may be, even if I'm not the person doing it for you, I can refer you to someone that I wholeheartedly believe in what they do, and they're reputable, and that I've had people work with them that have had great success. So that alone is definitely worthwhile. And sometimes these 45 minutes, yeah, they could be extremely eye-opening. And that's what I want. That's truly what I want. So we are having a huge storm here today in Charlotte, and I'm probably getting ready to lose power. So I'm going to wrap it up here pretty quickly. Um, but I just wanted you to know that I am here as a resource for you. Whether it's a 45-minute call, if it's a 2-day tune up, if it's one on one consulting, if it's just binging the podcast and learning as much as you possibly can from me and many of the wonderful industry leaders, um, I'm here to serve you, really and truly. That is all I have for you today. I do apologize if this felt like a commercial. That was not the intent at all, but I realize that I really very rarely talk about what it is that I actually do for people. Aside from all of that, I do a lot of public speaking. I'm definitely cranking back on some of that just because it is such a huge time commitment for me to travel and speak and do all of that. But I will always be at a few places here and there throughout the year. And I truly want to be a resource to you, my fellow venue owner friends. And I know that what we do is so hard. It is so hard. And this world is ever changing. Marketing is changing. The way that we serve our couples is changing. And so I'm proud of you for being here, for listening, for choosing to grow, to putting yourself at the right table. It's a really, really important thing. And I'm proud of you for being here. So before I let you guys go, I do want to just say, if you are enjoying the podcast, the way that this could get, pushed out to so many other venue owners is for you to tell people about the podcast, to leave a rating anywhere that you are listening to the podcast, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or any of the tons of other places. That would mean the world to me for you to do that. That's the best thank you in the world, is a good review. You know it's true. You know it's true. So we'll see you next time. That's all I have for you today. And be sure, again, come back to the next episode, because tea is spilling the tea. See you next time on the Venue Success Podcast.